Hello everyone and welcome to Molehill Mountain episode 380. Andrew here. You are wherever you are. Let's talk about really important things like movies and video games and things. Yes. So, last week I talked a bit about the Alien prequels. And one of the Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And one of the, which I have to specify because Alien Romulus just came out in the theater in the last week, and that's a prequel to most of the sequels. Like, it comes between Alien and Aliens. So I'm specifically talking about Prometheus and Alien Covenant. What I talked about was I found those were really conceptually interesting movies, and by conceptually interesting, I mean, they made a choice to answer questions that I've never heard anyone ask. Like, where does the alien come from? I'm like, is that what anyone was... Did anyone walk out of the theater in 78, 79 whenever Alien came out and they were like, yeah, that was good, but where did the space alien come from? I mean, we didn't get any backstory on the alien. How am I supposed to connect with the character of the alien if I don't know its secret origins? I mean, people are weird and varied, so I imagine someone asked that at some point, but Ridley Scott apparently been mulling over that for decades and decided it was so interesting that he made 2 movies covering where the alien comes from. And it's not like there's nothing to like in either of those films, but they spent a lot of time and effort answering a question that I don't know anyone ever thought to ask. Mainly because I don't know that it matters. It's like, now that we know the super secret special origins of the alien, does that recolor how we view any of the subsequent Alien films? Not to me. So I watched last night, I watched Furiosa, a Mad Max saga or something like that, which is the prequel to the Mad Max movie that came out 5 or so years ago. And I thought... And Furiosa, of course, is a prequel film that covers the life, literally almost the whole thing. It's the epic of Furiosa, from little child Furiosa to adult Furiosa. And it reminded me a lot of the Alien prequels. It is a movie that answers a ton of questions that I don't know anyone ever thought to ask. Like, how did she lose her arm? Wasteland's a tough place. Yeah, could have been born without it, I mean, she works with big machines all the time. Okay, something could have fell on her arm. It's just a really nasty place. Could have been shot, could have been bit off, but now that we know she got her arm, stuck between a tire and a car door, now we know how she lost her arm, and that changes nothing. It's not important, which is why I imagine it was. I imagine it's why George Miller didn't have it as a detail in the first movie, because it doesn't matter. Okay, but when did she start, painting her forehead with the black goop? That iconic black crap that she smears over her forehead? What's the deal? When did that start in her life? And everyone's like, no one cares. It doesn't matter. I mean, I always figured that she was just, kind of doing that to block out the sun, help prevent sunburn. Football players who draw the black crap under their eyes to help the sun and the reflections and stuff. I figured it was something like that. Hey, do you want to see the predecessor to the war rig? Do you want to see what life was like in the green place before she left? You want seriously, the movie what was Max doing during Furiosa's upbringing? Cuz this film answers that. Answers a bunch of stuff. As I said in my little mini review on Twitter last night, at least Furiosa has the decency to answer all those questions in one movie. Unlike the Alien prequels, which took 2 movies to explain the secret origins of the aliens. Although Furiosa is 2.5 hours long. The funny thing, though, one thing that kind of surprised me is the movie's okay. There's some good stuff in it. Overall, I found I'm having trouble evaluating movies right now because I'm in a bit of a emotionless funk where I'm just experiencing everything intellectually but not emotionally. Like I can't. I'm not connecting with anything right now. I'm just having a time. Like I'm just watching watching these movies are just like watching a wall. I don't have anything against my wall. It's a perfectly serviceable wall. There's nothing wrong with the wall. I don't find the wall off-putting. It's a wall. But I'm not emotionally engaged with it, right? I've been having the same problem with some movies I've been watching recently. Although it's a recent thing, I saw. I'll talk about it in a bit. But I did see the new Alien film. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Last Tuesday and enjoyed both of those. So it's just a funk. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy Furiosa. I thought it was just kind of long and dull and lifeless, just kind of lacking energy. It was just kind of going. And I think it was more I just wasn't engaged with it at all. But Chicago says I want to see the origins of Thunderdome. Yeah. We were beyond Thunderdome, but we were never at Thunderdome or before Thunderdome. We need to be all around that Thunderdome. What I was saying is Anna Taylor-Joy is Furiosa. She's on the posters, top billing as well she should. But surprisingly, of a 2.5-hour movie, she's only in the last 70 minutes. Because the first 2/3 of the film are her growing up. She doesn't hit adult Furiosa until the last third, which is not a problem with the film. I just found that kind of surprising. But one thing they were doing that I found very interesting is the older the character gets, the more they appear to be digitally manipulating the younger actor's face to look like Anna Taylor-Joy, so it's not completely jarring when she takes over the role an hour before the film ends. That was well done. There's some there's some cool stuff. Like there's the centerpiece car chase with the war rig, and the opposing team is there's like Paris, what was it, paragliding? Yeah. They get on little skis and ski behind their cars, and they let out a parachute so that they lift in the air. I'm like, I don't know, you could just throw a Molotov cocktail in it. That would probably be more efficient. You look like a sitting duck, but it is pretty neat. It's like, neat, haven't seen that before. So, yeah, Furiosa, I watched it at an emotional arm's length, which is unfortunate, but yeah, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's fine. It's just seems really invested in answering a bunch of questions that I didn't have, and I've never heard anyone else ask. So that's that. Which brings me to, I went to the drive-in, and I saw the new Alien movie, Alien Romulus, and Deadpool and Wolverine, which I'd wanted to see for a few weeks, and there was, let's see, one thing that wasn't spoiled And I wasn't looking for spoilers. It's just, and it's not like I'm reading posts, but I'm just scrolling through Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and it's just, here's a picture of all the secret stuff in the movie that just came out 3 days ago. I'm like, oh, thanks for that. That would have been a fun reveal if I didn't know it was coming. Still enjoyed the movie, but, I know you're all excited to talk about that stuff, but in a very public setting, maybe warn people you're going to do that so that they can choose to, oh, I'll just skip past this because I haven't seen the movie yet because it's only been out for 6 hours. Just consideration for other people is really all I ask. That's generally my spoiler policy. I mean, if it's a movie that has been out long enough to like hit streaming, not VOD, but actual streaming, like it's streaming on, Max or Amazon or Disney Plus or something, I think it's and has been for like a week or two. It's like at that point I think it's okay. It's like, okay, now you can talk about this stuff. It's as publicly accessible as it's going to get. I don't think you need to wait like 6 years or anything. But if it's still the first couple weeks of its theatrical run, maybe just making a, hey, spoiler talk over here. Just I'm not saying don't talk about it. That would be mean. No, definitely talk about it. But let people know you're going to talk about it so that they can exit the room, so to speak. Do spoilers ruin a movie? No. I still don't want stuff spoiled because some of the jokes in Deadpool and Wolverine are supposed to be fun surprises. It's like a surprise birthday party. It's still a birthday party. There's still cake and presents. But if you know about it beforehand, it's not as special. You walk in and everyone's surprised and you're like, hey. It's like opening your presents to see what they are and then rewrapping them. And you get to Christmas morning, you open up, it's like, I know what's in there because I already looked, right? Or someone, wow, that's not a great analogy. It'd be more like someone giving you a present saying, open it, it's this. And it's like, well, why did you wrap it? Alien Romulus is interesting. Because it, surprisingly, Deadpool and Wolverine, you may not suspect this, and you may not even believe me if you haven't seen both movies, but Deadpool and Wolverine, again I say, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie exercises much more restraint when it comes to naked callbacks and cashing in on iconography and references than Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus indulges. It luxuriates in the alien stuff. It is so overboard with it, I imagine Deadpool would be embarrassed. Which is a shame because otherwise the movie is not bad at all. I liked a lot about Alien Resurrection. No, I didn't like much about Alien Resurrection. Except I had a lot of weird performances by a lot of really fun actors. Like, Sigourney Weaver's choices in that movie are just bizarre. Not in a bad way. They're actually fascinating to watch. Ron Perlman is great. All the actors are great in that movie. It's just not a very good movie. No, Alien Romulus. I think the premise works. I think the characters are fine. And to the film's credit, it has a lot of genuinely clever and well thought out, unique sequences. There's a... Do I want to give a very vague example. Let's see. No. Trust me when I say there are several sequences in Alien Romulus that are extraordinarily clever and well executed. They're like, wow, huh, I haven't seen that before. That's a really cool idea, and it's executed really well. Bravo and kudos and such. Much plaudits for you. The general premise of the film is there's a bunch of young kids, in their 20s or so, who are working in a mining colony run by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. And they're all under contract, and they're trying to earn enough work credit so that they can, leave this planet that never sees sunlight because of its weird orbital path and rotation. Everyone just keeps dying of, mine collapses and health problems and weird diseases. So our hero, I think her name was Rain, she finally gets enough credits, and the person is like, oh, so sorry, but we, Weyland-Yutani is having to tighten that belt because profits are down, so we actually added 12 more credit years to your contract, so you're going to be here for a while. So all the characters are like, well, that's bullshit, but they happen to know that there's a derelict space station kind of floating around the planet. So they're like, alright, we're going to get in our ship, we're going to go there, and we're going to steal the cryopods so that we can just set our ship on a course for the new world and go sleep in the cryopods for 9 years. Because it's, it's a 9-year journey, they don't want to sit around. Be really hard to stock the ship with enough food to last them 9 years. So that's the premise of the movie. They sneak off the colony and they sneak into a space station to try and steal some cryopods so they can just leave. That's a fine premise. Would you be surprised to hear there's aliens on the spaceship? And there's the conflict. There's a nasty, toothy alien standing between them and the cryopod, right? Cool. There's your movie. And it's pretty good. As I said, I liked the setup. I liked a lot of what they're doing with some of the characters, particularly our two leads, Rain and whatever. Andy. I think his name is Andy, which I shouldn't have a problem remembering. The rest of the cast are, I can't remember their names because they're not as important. They're mostly just alien chow. But where the movie goes off the rails for me anyway is it's like I said, it's constant callbacks and references to previous Alien films. Although from the context of this film, it's stuff that's happened prior to the events of the film and also stuff that happens after the events of the film. And it goes so far as to resurrect a character from the original movie, kind of, but using not really successful deep fake face replacement kind of stuff to make it look like the young version of the original actor. He's also dead now, I think, so it's also a sound-alike, or it could be computer generated. It's very tinny sounding, which is kind of gross, and there's no need for them to do that. Hopefully they got the actor's estate, I guess, because I'm pretty sure that actor's dead. They got the correct permissions, but also there was just really no need to do that. Also, they reference lines, they reuse lines, for example, "Get away from her, you bitch." One of the characters says that, and it's also kind of out of character for that character. It's delivered so awkwardly, it's just like, ugh. And it's like, oh, hey, look, here's a gun, like the ones the Colonial Marines use. And it's like, oh, god damn it. And there's almost some of the camera angles and shots for a bunch of stuff are exactly the same. Like when Hicks was teaching Michael Bihn's character was Hicks, right? I think so. When he was teaching Ripley how to use the Colonial Machines gun, they almost shot line. It's almost exactly the same in this movie. In fact, it's kind of weird because the Romulus, there's also the Remus. It's a two. There's two halves to the same space station, but it's really kind of, this is the alien part of the space station, and this is the aliens part of the space station. It's like, oh god. There's, it's like, oh well, gotta blow something out of an airlock. You gotta have the hero in their underwear, stealthily getting into their spacesuit before the alien catches them so that they can blow it out. And it's like, oh my god. Yeah. Eye rolling to the extreme. Kind of, honestly hurt the movie for me. Like, I liked all the original stuff, I thought was pretty good. But then the movie's like, no, here's stuff from all the other movies. Hey, you remember the black goo from Prometheus? We got the black goo. It's like, no one likes the black goo. Hey, you remember Alien Resurrection, don't you? Yes, I do. Fondly, right? No. No one has fond memories of Alien Resurrection. What are you doing? Why would you even want to remind us of that? How about we base our climax on Alien Resurrection? No, don't. Why would you do that? So kind of takes you out of the movie. Although, again, there's a lot of really great stuff. There's this stuff where and it's, the movie's set up well. There's setup and payoff. There's a great continuing gag, not in a ha-ha way, but where they get onto the ship and the artificial gravity cycles on and off. And there's a throwaway line for, it's like, oh, because if it just, the ship would explode if it didn't do that. Oh, well, okay. Well, that comes into play several times throughout the story in interesting ways. So there's some. It is a mixed bag. There's some good. The original stuff is good. The cloying, pandering, please remember all the other movies is not. And I think there's a fine line between, like, celebrating the franchise and desperately trying to copy the best bits of it to. It's like copying. It's like celebrating someone's work and copying their homework, right? In both cases, you're technically using someone else's work, but the intention and the execution make it two very bespoke things, right? So yeah, not entirely a success, I don't think, which is a shame because, again, the original stuff I quite liked. Chicago says, oh, hey, Chaos. Chicago says, I've noticed a lot of people do not have consideration for others, particularly on the internet, especially when they're trying to get attention by being the first to talk about something new. Yeah, I imagine there's that click economy. It's like, if I can be the first person to film all of the cool cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine with my cell phone and then post it on the internet, I'll get attention. And it's like, beyond the selfish bit where I get spoiled on something I would have liked to discover in the movie, that's sad. Like from a human to human perspective, that is so unbelievably pathetic that is genuinely heartbreakingly sad. I'm trying to imagine someone whose life is so pathetic, so devoid of any value or meaning, that the only thing they can think to do is spoil someone else's good time or act like an asshole. And I'm not talking only about, spoiler stuff. I'm talking about, just, the outrage economy and stuff. It's like, I'm going to make my personality hating a thing. And I'm going to do nothing but hate the thing. Because it gets me attention. Because I'm such a damn loser that I am so unremarkable in every way that no one would ever pay attention to me if I didn't show my entire ass in public. Dropping my pants in a crowded place and waggling back and forth is the only way I can get people to pay attention to me. I've just got nothing else going for me. I may not like you because of what you're doing, but as an empathetic human being, that is remarkably damn sad. I hope your life improves. For both reasons, because one, I think you're annoying and I don't like you, and two, good, that's just sad. I wouldn't want anyone's life to have so little value that that's the only thing they can do to get anyone to pay them any attention, right? Kind of reminds me of small children who break stuff just so their parents will pay attention to them, even if that attention comes in the form of verbal berating or physical beating. Even it's like, oh man, that's really sad. Hopefully, I'm articulating that in a clear way, but. So, Deadpool and Wolverine, I quite liked. I thought that was a lot of fun, even though every single cameo in the film, save for one background character, I went, oh, hey, that's that person. That character is on screen so little that I'm not sure if it's the original actor or not, and I missed the name in the credit, so... Oh, speaking of which, the end credit scene... One of the best end credit scenes of all the films with end credit scenes, because instead of essentially being a commercial for another movie, it actually, literally recontextualizes something that you already saw in the movie. And I'm like, that's actually really funny. So I really like the end credit thing. Is Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine rather a good movie? It's okay. It's definitely funny. At least to my sensibilities, I thought it was fun and funny and had good action and fun gore and, to my sensibilities, yes. That said, I would have liked some more thematic meat on the bone, right? It doesn't have that much to say. Like, going into it, I had heard the general premise of the film was Deadpool's universe is, essentially the Fox superhero universe, is dying because Wolverine died in Logan back in whenever the hell that film came out, 2017 or something like that. So because Wolverine's gone, no one gives a shit about the rest of the universe, so it's collapsing in on itself. Because Wolverine was an anchor being. And I'm like, I think I know where it sounds like what they're doing is the same thing that the Sony animated Spider-Man movie did. What is it called? Beyond the Spider-Verse, I think the second one was called. Because the major premise of that was I forget exactly what they called them, but there are canon events. Things that happen, plot beats that have to happen in each Spider-Man universe. Otherwise, the universe collapses in on itself. Uncle Ben has to die. That's canon. That's what happens. It can't happen any other way. The story has to be told the same way every time, or it'll be a huge flippin' disaster. And the theme of that movie is, no. That's stupid. It's simultaneously stupid and completely untrue. And going in, I figured Deadpool was going to have the same thesis. This whole concept of anchor beings is stupid. No, the universe doesn't die if the favorite character is no longer in it. The rest of the universe, of course, still has value even without it. Not really. No, you gotta kind of read some stuff into it if you want to come away with that thesis. No, not really. But then again, it's just Deadpool and Wolverine. It's more just kind of an excuse to do a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. That said, I think it is a missed opportunity. Is it? Oh, that's right. Thank you, Chicago. Yeah, it's Across the Spider-Verse. I think Beyond is the next one that they're doing. Do you think that Beyond is going to be in Beyond the Spider-Verse? It's like, well, was the Across in Across the Spider-Verse? It's like, no, not necessarily, right? I thought there was going to be, the person who tells Deadpool the whole, oh yeah, the universe is just getting erased out of it's going all, everyone's disappearing like Marty McFly's family in Back to the Future because Wolverine's not in there. I figured that, that it was going to be like, no, he's just a gripey, stupid fanboy. It's like, well, if my favorite character isn't there, then the whole universe doesn't have any value. Nah. I thought they were kind of going to do something like that, but no. No, it's just a fun, silly romp for the most part, which is fine. Again, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, but making a story better makes the story better. I think stories are better when they actually have something to say. Rather, it's like, does Deadpool and Wolverine have anything to say? Sure. The things that are important to you are important to you. There's very simple things like, family's important, seeing things from other people's perspectives important. These things are valuable, and you should recognize that and embrace it. It's like, yeah, okay, it's not terribly interesting, but it's there, and it's fine. Everyone in the film is committing to it, which is great. Hugh Jackman's acting his little heart out, and he's taking this deadly damn seriously, which is a wonderfully hilarious juxtaposition between him and Deadpool. One who's taking it extraordinarily seriously, and one who is not. Love it. Yeah, there's a I don't mind saying so. It's in the trailers. There is a fight scene inside of a Honda. Whole fight takes place inside the car. It's great. I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like it. And the film is gory, but in a fun way. Like, I can't tell you how many people get stabbed in the crotch, and it's just always funny. It just depends on how you present it, right? One of my favorite gags in the movie, and it's supremely immature, is Deadpool actually has at one point Wolverine's claws, and he punches some dude in the groin, and then he punches another guy in the ass, and and then he gets his claws stuck, and he's like, uh-oh. He's like pulling one guy, and the guy's like, ow! And the other guy's like, oh, my ass! My groin! It's like, and he's between these two guys. He's got his claws buried up some guy's bum and one into the other guy's groin. If you are an immature person like me, it is tear-rollingly hilarious. So I really liked Deadpool and Wolverine. I had a lot of fun with it. As I said, I think the story could have used a bit more thematic meat on the adamantium bone, but otherwise, yeah, I quite enjoyed it. So now let's talk about something interesting that happened in Germany. a place where historically nothing interesting ever happens. So it's nice to see that that country gets a bone thrown every once in a while. And this year was the Gamescom conference, video game conference. And I thought it was really interesting because I have never seen an entire video game conference dedicated to one single video game. That, of course, being Monster Hunter Wilds. You might think they would have taken the opportunity, having an entire convention and flying people in from other countries to attend the convention, to take that opportunity and show off, like, other games. But, nope. No, Monster Hunter Wilds. The only game there. I was surprised. I mean, you probably don't believe me. But yeah, it's true. Monster Hunter Wilds was the only game there. Entire conference for just one game. Ballsy. But, I mean, the game looks pretty gosh darn good, and it's the only game anyone cared about, so I guess I'm not too surprised that every other video game was like, oh, Monster Hunter Wilds is there? It's like, oh, well, yeah, maybe there will be room at Tokyo Game Show or something. I, of course, kid. I hear tell there were other games. For example, I did watch the Gamescom opening night live stream, which was like 2 hours long, which is better than 3 hours long. Hosted by Jeff Keighley, which I hate to bang on this drum, but please stop hosting. Please. Just... Excuse me for a moment. Had to kill a fly. And I did. So, that little bastard's been buzzing around here all afternoon. Finally zipped. You might have saw it zip past and landed on the door frame in the front door. So I swatted it and killed it. Did I just off Jeff Keighley? No. I don't wish the man harm. I just wish he would stop being master of ceremonies because I think he's genuinely bad at it. Not the worst I've ever seen. I mean, he doesn't make me want to, like, gouge my eyes out or anything. He's just not good at it. I mean, he's not insanely bad. But I find him to be an absolute charisma vacuum. Also, the writing is very bad. His co-host, he had a co-host, and she was just as bad, unfortunately. And I don't know who's writing this stuff, but I've talked about this before, but Keighley always... This is partially the writing, but after every trailer, the writers have them going, yeah, that game, right? Yeah? Looks awesome, right? Yeah! And the audience is sitting there going like, please stop doing that. That is so embarrassing. Please, you know, it's the please clap. Don't do that. And they're, to be fair, they're just reading a teleprompter, but oh my god, it is so awkward and embarrassing. Stop it. There are so many people who are good hosts. Just hire somebody to host your goddamn show because you're bad at it. Anyway. Also, I don't believe it is what he's actually thinking, nor do I believe it's his intention. But my personal read, and your mileage of it may vary, but the way Keighley delivers the script, particularly after a trailer runs, and he's like, yeah, that looks awesome. His body language and facial expressions and gesticulations and dialogue, all to me, and this is probably unfair, but it communicates, yeah, I did that. That game that looks so awesome, yeah, that's mine. I did that. Wouldn't even exist without me. I programmed the whole thing myself. It kind of comes off like he's taking ownership of everything that's cool. It's like, yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah, I did that. Praise me. It's just that I doubt very much that's his intention or that's what he's thinking, but I doubt many people get that sense when they watch him. But boy, that's how it comes off to me a lot of the time. Yeah, Chaos says he lacks personality. Yeah, he is. That's one of the things I mean by a charisma vacuum. He's just dull as hell. He's a bad MC. I hope he's a great actual human being. Don't know him, but he's not good at MCing. But whatever. So, there were games, and I couldn't remember any of them except Monster Hunter Wilds. So I have a list in front of me. And I'll try to remember what they were. And the first one was Borderlands 4, and it's notable, and if you follow me on Twitter, you saw me do this, but the Borderlands 4 trailer was the first trailer they showed. And to their credit, Keighley only stood there and yammered for like 2.5 minutes before introducing the first trailer. You know, we didn't have to sit through 15 minutes of crap and talkity talks before we got to the trailer. We got right to it. So, you know, kudos there. So the Borderlands 4 teaser trailer opens with a shot of empty space. And let me, hang on, let me look at the trailer real quick. Okay. Hang on a second, hang on. We've got empty space. Oh, it's not there because what I'm looking at is the actual teaser that Gearbox uploaded to their own website. I'd have to actually look at the actual Gamescom movie night stream or whatever it was called. Hang on, let me scroll through my Twitter and get it. There it is. Okay, so if you the 2-hour video game presentation that precedes 3 days of Gamescom starts. Jeff Keighley gets up there, talks for 2.5 minutes. Hey everyone, thanks for coming. Video games are fun, and we're going to show you advertisements for all of the upcoming games that we want you to buy, because playing games is so much fun. It's a hobby we're all passionate about, and we're all meeting together in this country, and we're from all over the world to share our passion of playing games. So here is how I'm going to set off the conference. The following 3 days of the conference, the following 2 hours of this show, this is the first trailer I'm going to show. This is the first shot of the first trailer of the 2-hour show that's kicking off a 3-day video game conference, and the first thing I'm going to show you is a blank screen, or well, a screen of just empty space with text at the bottom in all caps that says, "Not actual gameplay." I thought that was hilarious. That's what... These are scripted. You know, there's a lot of moving parts. Putting a show together like this is very, very difficult. There's a lot of moving parts. Things, you know, game trailers come in, game trailers drop out. It's like, oh, I thought we were going to have the Gearbox trailer, or I thought we were going to have Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, shit, they didn't get the trailer in time. We've got to move things around. Oh, shoot, one of our guests' flight got delayed and won't be here to come up on stage to introduce their trailer. Shit happens. Stuff is in flux. I get that. But this is also highly scripted and highly coordinated. It was a choice to lead off with this trailer. It was a choice to have the very first thing that all of the gamers see in our advertisements for all the stuff you're going to be playing in the next 6 months is the message, "Not actual gameplay." I just thought that was really funny. I thought that set the tone for the entire show quite nicely. So, so Borderlands 4. Yeah, the only thing you get out of there is Borderlands 4 is coming, because there's nothing... they're not kidding. No actual gameplay. There's nothing even that stands in as gameplay. No one's going to be confused that there's... if you don't know what Borderlands is, you would have no idea what kind of game this is. Also, the Borderlands movie just came out, and the reviews are kind of rough, so that's unfortunate timing. Hey, a sequel to the franchise, to the movie that just came out that no one likes, and a lot of people are saying it's among the worst video game movies ever, and that's saying something. Moving on. Mafia, The Old Country. Didn't show anything. And again, it was a trailer. It's like, and I think the person who, it was either Keeley or someone else, you know, after the, we hope you enjoyed this first look at Mafia. It's like, this wasn't a first. You didn't show anything. I think it showed like a candle on a table by a window. It's like there was no, it showed no, it's just an announcement. It's essentially just an announcement. Hey, we're doing another Mafia game. Okay, this is not a first look. You just remember 7 or 8 years ago when Nintendo announced they were doing Metroid Prime 4 and we got a title treatment? That's not a first look, right? And to Nintendo's credit, I don't think they called it a first look, but maybe a better example would be, remember the first, the announcement for Bayonetta 3? You know, it had Bayonetta and she was looking all kind of haggard and she shot, you know, bullets, and then it did the title logo, right? There was actual character model running around and doing stuff, right? That's also not a first look. That's just an announcement. Maybe I'm being nitpicky. I don't know. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I think they it's coming out in December. Was the gist of that? I don't know. Indiana Jones is cool, although I still haven't watched the new one. Maybe the game's good. Don't know. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. They actually showed, like, I don't know, 10 minutes of gameplay from this. It's Call of Duty. What do you want? Dying Light the Beast. So Dying Light with more superpowers in your parkour. Okay. Directive 8020. I don't even remember what the hell this is. Oh, it's one of the Dark Pictures anthology games, so from Supermassive, I guess. Jesus, I don't remember anything about it. Oh well. Goat Simulator Remastered. So they're remastering Goat Simulator. I'm not even sure how you do that, because the game being broken is like part of its charm, which is kind of weird. And again, not really any gameplay. It was just kind of a... It was an announcement video, but they made a whole skit out of it, which was funny. I mean, if you're not going to show any gameplay, at least have an entertaining little reveal, right? King of Meat. Jesus, I don't even remember. It's something. Don't care. Linked Banner of the Spark. They're spelling Linked Lynked. I'm glad they said the title, because otherwise I would have been kind of confused what the name of the game is. Don't remember what it is. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. So this is another game from Don't Nod, where not even entirely clear what the premise is. These games are lacking in gameplay. They're mostly visual novelish kind of things, but like this trailer didn't even really do a great job of telling me what the hell the premise is. Like, you've got two young adults and it's like, hey, remember when we were kids and we had a band? Yeah? Well, I just heard from our bandmates. You did? Okay, what's that? No idea what the premise is. Arc Raiders. I don't remember. It's probably another team-based shooter. Oh, here's another one. Infinity Nikki. It's cute. There's a girl with pink hair who I guess plays with and takes care of cute animals, like kind of Pokemon. Not like Pal World ripoff Pokemon, just little No idea what the hell you do in the game. I mean, the trailer's adorable. Everything looks cute, but again, it's a trailer that doesn't tell you anything about the game. It's like, again, what is the game? Don't know. Dune Awakening, I got so bored with that, I actually skipped the trailer. So, Reanimal, that's the Little Nightmares developers are making another game that is not Little Nightmares, but looks exactly like it. But it's not Little Nightmares 3. Little Nightmares 3 is Little Nightmares 3. Reanimal is not Little Nightmares 3, even though it looks exactly the same. Then we got a trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds, which actually showed gameplay and monsters. A big spider with a rose for a butt. It was great. It was an actual trailer for a video game that showed what the game is. You dress in cool outfits and you go smack cool monsters in the face with cool weapons. And there's a cat that walks upright and talks to you. And did I mention the spider monster with a rose for a butt? You know, looks great. It was great. It was wonderful. And that's why Gamescom only had one game. And then they moved on to Sid Meier's Civilization 7, which was there. If you like Civ, I guess. Marvel Rivals, which is another, hero team-based shooter. But this one's Marvel, so yay. Oh, this was interesting. So apparently on Amazon Prime, there's a video anthology series called Secret Level that's going to be. You remember Birth, Death, Robots or whatever it's called? I think there's been like 3 seasons that aired on Netflix, which is just a anthology collection of short sci-fi animation. This is apparently the same thing. I think it's the same studio too. I forget what the name is. The same studio that did the Love, Robots, Death, whatever it was called. So this will be a bunch of original animations based on various video games. Like I think Mega Man, I remember, was in there. I think Sifu was in there. God of War was in there. I don't know if there will be like literal interpretations or more inspired by kind of things, but yeah, that sounds neat. Starfield, which I guess people play, is getting a dune buggy, so that's fun if you play Starfield. Monument Valley 3 is coming out, which means there has been a Monument Valley 1 and 2 at some point. I'm pretty sure. It's usually how that works. Batman Arkham Shadow, that's a VR Batman game. Masters of Albion, for some reason, someone let Peter Molyneux in the building and to show off his game, and it looks like garbage. They're making a Squid Game video game. Okay, I think it's a mobile game. Yeah, it's a mobile game. And then Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred, which is... it's an expansion of Diablo 4, I guess. So, yeah, like I said, Monster Hunter Wilds was the only game at Gamescom. So, Chaos says, in fairness to Borderlands, it is Borderlands, so we know what to expect, yeah. It's also said, I hope Borderlands 4 is better than 3. 3 was not very good, yeah. And I got Goat Simulator from PlayStation Plus, and I felt ripped off. Yeah, so I thought the Gamescom opening night was just the 2-hour show was bad. I thought the presenters were bad, and the trailers were mostly all bad. I was interested in almost nothing there. Oftentimes not the fault of the game, but whoever decided to cut trailers that don't tell you anything about the game. Right? But I did watch all of 3 days of Monster Hunter Wilds, and yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a PS5 at some point because that game looks like a lot of fun. It looks like something I would very much enjoy playing. It looks like I'm glad it's still 5 months out or so because not running very well. But to be fair, again, still 5 months out, and the build they have on the show floor is probably at least a month old, if not older. Little framey. Crashed quite a bit, but the game's not done yet. But looks like a lot of fun. The monsters are cool. All the new stuff looks neat. They've got a couple interesting tweaks. You cook out in the field. You seem to be doing your own cooking. That doesn't mean there isn't a canteen where you can go and get a very lavish meal with a whole production made of cooking it, which is some of the fun parts of the games, is watching the Meowscular chef or whomever go through a really silly cutscene making obnoxious food and you just scarfing it down. What they've showed so far is you can go out into the field with your grill and select ingredients to make either fish, veggies, or meat. And so you pick fish, veggies, or meat. Then you pick a topping, either I think mushrooms or shrimp is what they showed. And then a seasoning like herbs or honey. And what's neat is whatever you pick is what's visually represented. Your hunter plops a pat of butter and puts the meat in or whatever, and then drinks some coffee while it simmers, then pulls it out and garnishes it with stuff, and then, takes a bite and it's like, yeah. I'm like, I kind of miss the whole nom 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 nom, but maybe that's still in there too. Some neat stuff that was announced was typically how Monster Hunter has worked is you can pick a male character or a female character, and that locks you into either male or female armor, respectively. Because every armor set in the more modern games has a male version and a female version. What's the difference? Usually, mostly like helmet design. Like, the male costumes are very often, certainly not always, but quite often full armor. Like, you don't see an inch of skin, like full gloves and gauntlets and full helmet and stuff, while the female armor is usually a bit more open, like you could see who's wearing the armor. Like, instead of a full helmet, you get like a hat or a crown or something, right? But in this game, there's still male and female armor, but regardless of which gender your character is, you can wear either one. So if you want to wear the male full-bodied armor set, but with the female helmet, because what I know a lot of Monster Hunters, players of the game have done, is the more modern games have had the ability to make your helmet invisible so you can see your character's face, but you still get the benefits, the armor skills from wearing the helmet. They're like, I spent 2 hours in the character creator making my character's cool face, and so I bought hairdo DLC. I want to see my hairdo, so they just turn off the helmet. Well, now you can wear the full male set and then just put the female hat on and see your character's lovely face. So that's very cool. That's gonna up the fashion game of Monster Hunter, the most important part of Monster Hunter. Some other neat stuff I saw, like they changed the health bar, so it's still a green bar, but it's kind of wavy. Not quite like a full EKG, but it's like a very relaxed proton stream from like Ghostbusters. If they were shooting at ghosts, the proton stream goes, and it goes all over the place. It was just like very lightly undulating and very calm. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that. I don't need the extra movement. I mean, it's stylish looking, but maybe it's distracting. But what it does is, as your health bar shortens, as the monsters bite into your buns, the waving gets a little bit more insistent. I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing there. So, as your health bar gets shorter, instead of the Zelda beep 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 beep, it's just a visual indication that hey, your health is getting low. You might want to go chug a health potion or something. So that might I also saw an option in the options menu that was talking about the UI, and it was set as dynamic, which I imagine means the moving health bar. So there's a good chance if you don't like that, you could change it to non-dynamic and just have it a flat line so it's not distracting you. Yeah, all in all, Monster Hunter Wilds looks pretty gosh darn fun. I really like that rosebud spider monster that they showed, Lala Ballerina or whatever her name is. She looks really cool. Seriously, her entire she's a fuzzy white spider, but her entire thorax just opens up into a blooming rose. Or that's not thorax, that's an abdomen. Her ass end opens into a rose, which is just a really fun design. I love that silly stuff. So, and the looks that we've the 2 weeks prior to Gamescom, Capcom was releasing very short and very slight weapons videos where they're like, hey, here's the hammer, you hit things in the head with it. Oh, look, you can do a spinny spinny. And it was not only getting a small taste of what the weapons are like, but also each video they would show a different armor and weapon, right? So you'd see, oh, that's obviously the Guadalajara, something monster. I don't have the names memorized yet. Oh, that's the Rathalos set. They didn't show off. No, they did show the Rathalos set. That's the Rathalos set. That's the Hunter set. That's clearly the Rachnikadaki. They didn't show Rachnikadaki. I don't know if that one's in the game, but you got to see a bunch of different armors and weapons, and they're like super cool. There's one from a monster that we haven't seen yet. It was the hammer, and the hammer was there's a brain in a jar on the end of the stick. I don't know what's that's about, but it's really fun. So yeah, Monster Hunter. It's a game about killing monsters that are otherwise minding their own business, so that you can carve, a hat out of their butt. Oh, and when you kill a monster, they don't lose their collision. So when you carve them, you don't get to camp inside of a monster. See, in all the games thus far, when a monster dies, all of its collision goes away, so you can just clip through the entire monster, and you can work the camera into the monster and see it from the insides. Now it doesn't do that. There's still some collision, so you can climb on and over the monster as you're carving it for parts. That's neat. So yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds. Sadly, won't be out for the charity event. Gotta pick some different games. I am in the planning stages of this year's Extra Life charity event. In fact, I have bought why did I use these two fingers? 2 games for the Extra Life charity event, and I don't know if I'll be playing either of them. One is with my sister, and she's evaluating it to see if it would make a good candidate, and another one that I just purchased will be here tomorrow. And I'm going to need to put some time into it to see if it will be good enough for the show. And I've also got some other fun things that I want to try out. And so look forward to that. We're still a little over 2 months away, so plenty of time. But if you've got your own ideas for games you think might be fun to see on the stream, or in donation incentives, things like that, yeah, hit me up on Twitter or whatever, and let me know, and I'll take it into consideration. So, NES World Championship game, not a bad. Is that even out yet? I don't think that's out yet. I would imagine it comes out this fall, but I hadn't considered that. That's an interesting thought. NES, where is it? This comes out, release date, give me a damn release date. Why, where's the release date? Oh, July 18th, it's already out, okay. Wow, no one is talking about that one. That's, you know what, that's actually not a bad suggestion, though. If that might be fun to play with Super Metal Dave if he can join the festivities this year. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Cool. Thanks for the suggestion. All right, so that's it for tonight. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, for some more Trails of Cold Steel. I didn't grind enough to increase levels by any more than 1, but I did get a lot of U material. I mean, I figured if the monsters on the Aurochs rocks Canyon Road were just gonna distribute U material like candy, then I was gonna go trick or treating. So always nice to have an extra supply of U material. Chicago says July 18th. I haven't seen anyone talk about it. That's not a good sign. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I'll have to go visit the usual sites and see if anyone's actually reviewed it. Is there a problem that I should be aware of? Because the damn thing is $60. I don't want to drop 60 on it if it's like the emulation is poor, or it looks bad, or it's clunky and doesn't work. I don't know. We'll see. Regardless, I appreciate the suggestion. And that's it for me. I hope to see y'all tomorrow for some Trails of Cold Steel. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.